Asheville, North Carolina is known for its outdoor activities, like hiking. It's a paradise for waterfall chasers, and don't even get me started on their luscious gardens. There's a good chance you already know about that already. So today I'm going to share with you an insider's tip, one of Asheville's best kept secret activities for outdoor and nature lovers. And if you appreciate today's information, don't forget to hit that like button. And if this is your first time here, I'm Christy Evers, your favorite new YouTube travel specialist. And my channel is all about travel. So if you're into getting travel updates, destination info, travel hacks, reviews, and deals, then this channel is for you. You know the routine, you know what to do. Hit the bell and subscribe so you know when I post my next travel video. Now let's get back to our insider activity. Today we met up with No Taste Like Home food foraging tours, where they teach us how to forage and feast through fields and forests as we discover some of the area's most common wild edibles that are very likely growing in your own backyard.
And so yeah, baskets.
They equip us with the tools we need.
If you want to find food, you gotta be ready for it when it comes. And then there's bags,
Including a cutting and cleaning tool. Knives. This should get interesting. And we're off.
and so if you look at any lawn, if you're not really looking, you might just think it's grass. Most lawns are full of food. This is one that is super common in lawns. Why don't y'all pick one of those and show it to me? Ground ivy. Yeah. It's also called alehoof is another name.
Turns out that much of the growth that we consider to be invasive weeds are actually quite nutritious.
A lot of these plants are about the preparation. We're going to be tasting them now just in their rawest form.
That's right, folks. We're gonna pick and eat right here and now, straight from the ground. Don't worry though, the guide checks what we picked before we eat. Not only are they nutritious, but many of them have medicinal value too, like this violet leaf.
The gooiness is a feature of this plant that makes it useful in medicine. It's good for coughs and colds, and it's cooling to the mucosa and kind of like helps heal the mucous membranes. Yep.
Do you recognize this crazy wild growing plant? It's everywhere in the South.
Does it look familiar to anyone? Y'all are from the South, no? You don't recognize this plant? Did you say kudzu? Yeah, that's the one. At our annual dig this winter, on the same day that the World Health Organization said, oh, guess what, we're all in a global pandemic now. The next day, this influential American herbalist writer published a paper on how they've been using herbal medicine to treat COVID-19 in China. And guess what was one of the top herbs for treating COVID-19? Viral respiratory infections, kudzu root.
Oh, wow.
So we started to get emails from people like, send me 500 pounds of dried kudzu root now.
Not only is kudzu packed with protein, but it's helping fight against COVID-19 too. Now let's move on to the plantain leaf.
That arrived to this continent with the white man. The other thing is, again, it's like how you prepare it. So this one is even better, I think, than the kudzu as a kind of like kale chip. I chewed it up and put it on the bee sting, and it stopped. The feeling of the sting went away almost instantly. It's like really dramatic, and you probably feel that in your mouth a little bit now. You feel your tongue kind of feel dry inside your mouth. It's an astringent plant.
Now we move towards the forest to learn more about some of the more dangerous and irritating plants as well, like poison ivy.
That's poison ivy. Sometimes it grows on trees. Sometimes it trails along the ground. I think I saw some earlier. Here's some. Y'all notice anything about it? What do you see? Here's some here.
It's the three-leaf thing.
It's the three-leaf thing, yeah. Also, that's poison ivy, which is a two-leafed thing. Well, yeah, sometimes it's the three-leaf thing, sometimes it's not. And then, of course, kudzu had how many leaves?
3.
3. So you may have heard about poison ivy, leaves of 3, leave it be. Yeah, just because it's true, or just because it rhymes does not mean it's true. It's gonna help you avoid poison ivy, but it'll also help you avoid all kinds of other plants that we don't want to leave be. Strawberry, for example, leaves of 3, strawberry. And sometimes, like I pointed out there, it only has 2 leaves. And then in the winter, it has 0 leaves. And it still has the oils on the stems, on the vine, on the roots that can give you the rash. So I say all that so that you are discouraged from these like tricks to help us memorize plants. And it's really, I think, a hindrance to rely on tricks. I mean, because the poison ivy that's growing up this tree here, you can't see it there from where you're standing, but on the other side, maybe some of y'all can see a little bit of it. The vine has very fine hairs that helps it cling to the tree. There is one rhyme that I do like about poison ivy, which is, hairy rope, don't be a dope. If you do happen to get the poison ivy oils on your skin, fear not. There are some plants around that can help us. So this plant right here is almost always, I might even venture to say, always growing close by to poison ivy. This is Virginia creeper, and this is a folk remedy for the poison ivy oils. If you crush the plant up, it doesn't have a lot of juice. It's a pretty dry plant, but you can get a few leaves and crush them up, and then rub them on your skin wherever you might have gotten in contact with the poison ivy oils, and it's gonna serve as an antidote to the oils.
Now that we've learned about poison ivy, it's time to search for mushrooms.
Yeah, so this blue mushroom that is growing on this wood, this here is the fruit of the mushroom.
We're free to explore to find our own fungi, and the guide teaches us and discusses our finds along the way. Makes me feel like a kid again. I love it.
And eating mushrooms.
I think you're probably going to be okay.
Yeah. I mean, you did sign a waiver. I see all that milky stuff coming out. Yeah. Yeah. So this is a mushroom called a milk cap. Yeah, this happens to be a great edible one. So let's keep our eye out for these. I'll let you trim that off and go ahead and put that in your basket.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Little cookies.
Oh, okay.
But they're common, and I do know someone who, actually one of our former guides, she would chew on it like chewing gum. So yeah, let's keep an eye out for these. Yeah, especially the bigger ones are nice. Yeah, this is a nice edible mushroom.
Oh, fun.
This is called the cinnabar chanterelle mushroom.
Pop it in my mouth right now.
No, you can't pop it in your mouth right now. Thank you for asking, though.
What is the blue thing?
Well, the blue staining is a feature of a lot of these bolete mushrooms. So this is a very spongy, this is an old one. But there's a whole bunch of species of these boletes that stain blue. You want to do the honors and poke it? Do the poking honors. Y'all see the way it's staining blue where he poked it?
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is one that I'm pretty sure I was saying is called the sensitive bolete. And it's and actually the sensitive bolete is one that was listed previously as poisonous. So there has been amongst some, like novice mushroom foragers, a rule that if a bolete stains blue, then we say it's not edible. But that's not entirely true. There's some that stain blue that are
But
edible.
at least keeps it in safety profile.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like all fungi are edible once. But some boletes are edible. Some boletes are really wonderful choice edibles. Some are not. Some are just edible but forgettable.
I cannot stress enough, never eat a mushroom unless you're 100% sure it's safe, or the results could be deadly.
The destroying agent?
Yeah. Sounds delicious, doesn't it? So this is a mushroom that if you ate a little pea-sized nibble of, just a little taste, you'd get really, really sick. You'd puke for probably a day or two, and then you would think you were going to die, and then you would feel better, and then you would die.
Oh.
Yeah, it doesn't really kill you, it messes with you on the way out. I love these.
Are they edible?
No.
But they're pretty.
This one's so cute.
Yeah, so this one is a close relative of the destroying angel. It's an amanita mushroom. One of the common names for this one is yellow patches.
Oh, it's a big one.
Frost foliate.
It was so refreshing and an absolute blast just digging in the dirt, learning, and getting back to nature.
Crazy.
Like chocolate.
Yeah, so this is a great example of a polypore mushroom.
Oh, this is so cool.
And y'all can look at the underside and see why it's called polypore. Many pores. And no, I've never seen this mushroom.
I also got to learn about the very tasty birch branch.
Break a little twig off like that. And then you can taste it. And you can pick the leaves off. We're not going for the leaves. Oh, that's nice, huh? This one's called sweet birch or black birch.
Oh, that is nice.
Yeah, it's kind of the root beer flavor for sure. Also the flavor of a lot of like chewing gums. This wintergreen flavor. So you can make it stronger too. You steep it for longer, and you get a little bit more of this kind of minty wintergreen flavor in it. But also some more astringency, some bitter flavors. You can make an extract. And my very favorite food from sweet birch is the sap. So this is one of the first trees I ever tapped. I went out and did it while it was dark with my drill and the spile I put into the hole to get the sap to drip into a bucket. And I put my tools down and then drilled it, and then immediately just like tons of sap was gushing out. And I couldn't find the spile. It was like on the ground somewhere in the dark. I was like, didn't want to waste anything, so I just grabbed the tree and started plug. It was the most powerful food I've ever had.
Red clover is also edible, and I see this in my yard all the time. Who knew? Just also happens to be one of my daughter's absolute favorites. Now it's time to take our findings to identify, clean, and learn some more.
And then I'll give y'all each group pack of the day form to take home. And I've got extra the chanterelles. So the red ones are called cinnabar red, and then the yellowish ones are called flame chanterelle. Ground ivy, yep. Do we have an example of that to hold up?
Over here.
Oh, you guys picked some, good.
And this is that's the ground.
Yep, that's the ground ivy with the more frilly edges. What do we find with the ground ivy?
Violet.
Violet, yeah. Mushroom. And it's in a group of mushrooms. We didn't really find any others, I don't think. In the group, they're called coral mushrooms.
As we clean and go through our findings, the guide makes sure that we're taking home the safe plants and properly identifies them and places them in bags.
And then, because we've got these other ones.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Millimeters are small, right?
Yeah, millimeters are small. Sometimes rudiments. So the stalk is 6 to 20 centimeters thick. And then there are some mushrooms that are highly toxic raw that are edible, totally edible and fine when they're cooked.
They also prepare some of our findings to cook up as a snack. How fun is that?
To really crisp up in there. If you try to put too many, it'll get waterlogged and they just won't cook right.
Now it's time to taste our spoils. First off is the kale chip. Well, the plantain chip.
More to
Isn't it all pretty? Oh, and oh, so good.
and some of our guides do a little bit of
If you want pictures, don't worry about missing anything because they have a photographer that will follow you around and take pictures along the way, and then they'll email them to you later. When we took our group picture, we all smiled and said cheese, even though we were all wearing our masks. Smart, huh? I completely recommend a food foraging tour with no taste like home. As a matter of fact, I'll probably go again so that I can learn more at a later date. I'll leave their link in the video description below. So what about you? Have you ever been food foraging in the wild? Does this type of tour appeal to you? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks so much for joining today. Bye-bye.